I'm Sheila. I'm a member of Veterans for Peace, and I'm one of the organizers of the Veterans for Peace contest. One of the other major organizer actually lives in the Panhandle and does a bunch of the work from there, like putting the poetry book together. So I wanted to bring up Scott Camille. He's Gainesville chapter Veterans for Peace president, and he's going to be talking about the origins of the poetry contest.
It's so nice to see such a good crowd here today. Thank you all. I want to thank the Unitarians for allowing us to do this event here at the Fellowship. A number of years ago, I was visiting my daughter. She was getting married in Massachusetts, and I stayed with the Veterans for Peace in Massachusetts so I wouldn't have to pay for a hotel room. And I noticed on their table that they had peace poetry books. And so I looked into peace poetry books and I just loved the poems. And I thought, wow, this is really great. We ought to do this in Gainesville. So I brought the peace poetry contest to Gainesville because I liked what I saw in Massachusetts. We pay for the Peace Poetry Awards and for the Peace Scholarships. This Peace Scholarships this year will be $6,000 total that we're giving out. And we pay for that with money that we raise during our winter solstice concert that we also do right here. And we raise about $15,000 a year from the concert, and then the money that we raise pays for all of our programs. In the back of the room, actually outside that door, we have flyers that tell you all about our other programs. So when you leave, please pick up a flyer and learn more about what we do. Sheila.
Okay, great. All right, thanks, Scott. So we'd like to thank Olivia for coming. I'm hoping she doesn't leave the area. She's been doing this for us since she was in high school. We'd like to thank all the student poets who wrote poems and were interested in expressing their ideas about peace and social justice. All the poems submitted were extraordinary, lovely poems. Thank you to all the teachers, some of them are here, schools and parents who encouraged their students to participate. The names of the participating teachers are in the poetry book. As I said, some of the teachers are here. I also wanted to say that Ann Smith from Micanopy Academy sent in the poem she used to give her students a sample. That is in the back because I thought it was a beautiful poem. And also one of the Peace Scholarship winners sent in a poem, and that is in the back if you're interested in adult peace-themed poems. So we had a great diversity of poets and poems. All areas of the county were represented, and the beautiful, powerful poems reflect the range of experiences of our young poets. Once again, out of the 237 poems submitted, many spoke of nature and environmental themes, war and peace, school shootings, homelessness, racism and bias, and other social justice issues. The judges had a hard time narrowing down the number of poems you will hear today, as there were so many exceptional poems. The photos and video from today will be posted on the Veterans for Peace website. They will also be posted on the University of Florida Samuel Proctor Oral History Program YouTube channel, when Deborah Hendricks, up there filming, who has joyfully filmed every poetry reading for the past 13 years when she edits it and posts the video. Thank you, Deborah, and the Oral History Program. We have an inside to it. Paul Ortiz, who does the Peace Scholarship submissions, is the director of the oral history program, so you'll see him later. So after the poetry readings, we'll have the awarding of the Veterans for Peace Scholarships, which is another project of Veterans for Peace. Could all the teachers, educators, and school board members who are here to support the students please rise? All the teachers. Okay. There will be a reception after the program. We would ask that all poets and scholarship winners come back to the stage at the end of the program for a group photo. We will post that photo on our website, and in the past, the Gainesville Sun published the group photo with the names of the winning poets and scholarship winners and their schools in the Sun. We'll follow the order of the poems being read as printed in the poetry book. We will read all the names of the poets, even if they were not able to come today, just to honor that you can read along the great poems. So again, thank you, the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, for hosting this poetry reading. Garrett, a UU member, is running the soundboard today. Mary Barr will now talk about the Unitarian Fellowship. Mary is a veteran, a member of Veterans for Peace, and chair of the Unitarian Social Justice Committee.
Hello, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Gainesville. It's really nice to see so many people here. If you look behind me at the wheel we honor many different religious beliefs, and within our membership, people believe many different things, but we agree on principles like respect for every person on earth. So that gives you a real short elevator speech of what we're about. If you'd like to learn more, there are brochures on your way out in the lobby, and we're so glad you're here. Thank you.
So I'd like Melanie Hobson to come up. She's an author who earned her MFA at the University of Miami. Melanie was one of the poetry judges. I'll just say the best poetry judge. She will introduce the poets and their poems. So I'm going to y'all are going to come over here. I'm going to make sure that the microphone you can speak into it. I will hand you your certificates and gift cards. So everyone wants to hear the poets reading the poem. Make sure you're speaking right into the microphone. Again, we ask that the audience stay until all the poets have had a chance to read so that people aren't leaving as the older kids. All right. I'm going to bring them over here.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's my privilege today to honor these young poets whose work expresses the complexities of peace and social justice in a way that I think only poetry can. Youth rules today, so we will begin with first grade and move up. Our first poem, which is, I'm not sure if Riley Keith is here, but it had such an earnest and direct voice, which is what really jumped out at us. Is Riley here? Okay. Save Earth. We love the movement from grim to joyfulness in this poem, and that was written by Daniel Atria. Come on up and have a read.
Save Earth. People pollute, people litter. Earth is dying, please don't let it. Make it better. Get all up and let Earth go.
Daniel.
Well done. Our next poem, I love the way this poet turns it back on us, the reader, and makes us think too about the subject. And the author of this poem is Henry Tieford. Is he here? Yeah, come on.
What is peace? What is peace? So Susan, we can't explain to you, but can feel. Peace is calm, warm, and feels good, but we can't see it. So what is peace?
Okay, now we're into third grade, and this next poem had a really nice sophistication. It had a real rigor in the first two stanzas, and then it opened it up in the final stanza, which was a nice sort of turn in the poem. And that is by Chume Anderson. Come on up.
What if there was a girl who lived in the city? What if she picked up one piece of trash a day? What if she planted one tree a day? What if she was kind to one person a day? What if everyone picked up trash every day? What if everyone planted a tree every day? What if everyone showed kindness every day? What would our world be like then? Full of forests full of trees, no pollution and kindness spreading everywhere. This is what the little girl wants, a world full of peace.
The next poem, also from Jordan Glenn, has this really nice personification of earth and a little bit of playfulness in the language between peace, E-A-C-E, and peace, P-I-E-C-E, which was a nice little touch. And the author is Kylie Nobles, and the poem is Our Home.
Shore. By birds? No. By dogs? No. By the monkey who gets hiding under your bed? No. Who then? Trash is left on the ground. The earth cries. Plastic is swimming in the sea. The earth cries. Turtles get caught in the plastic and drown. The earth cries. It's being destroyed by the humans that live on it. When you see a piece of trash, pick it up. When you see a piece of plastic, cut it up. Don't just leave it there. That's how our world can change. One piece at a time.
The next poem does something that poetry is so good at doing, moving from something very particular in a short amount of time to something that's universal. And that poet is Audrey McNall. Is Audrey here?
Forced execution. A mother bird goes to find food. She's been gone for a day. She comes back from the day. Her tree is gone, where did they go? The nest has fallen. Oh no. The baby birds are dead. Everything is died away. Everything will stay that way. Everything lies down on the ground. Everything is left in its town. If we can stop cutting trees, if we can let the land be free, we will have peace once again.
Thank you. Our next poem has a really lovely dreamy quality, which reinforces the message of the poem. And the author of that is Saul Primosh from Jordan Glenn. Is he here? Okay, well, you can read it and enjoy it on your own. The next poem, which is by Rayam Abed uses repetition as a kind of a baseline under the poem, and it's very well done. Are you here? Yeah, come on up. Good job.
Peace is out of our reach. Russia attacking every day, Ukrainians' lives flashing away, but we have no power to stop it. It's peace we must trace. They hid from the madness, there is so much sadness. We pray this ends soon, it's peace we must trace. Our world is full of hate, but I believe in fate. Look at them, they're all on the same bus. But don't worry, peace will come crawling back to us. It's peace we must trace. When will life return to its normal ways and bring sunshine to these cloudy days? All I know is that peace might be going farther and farther each day. It's peace we must trace. We pray that peace will come crawling soon. But who knows, maybe it's farther than the moon. It's peace we must trace.
These authors are doing a great job, which for what must be their, maybe their first public reading. The next poem also uses repetition for effect, but my personal favorite two lines occur in the middle with the discussion about nightmares, because there's a beautiful double meaning there, which is very poetic. And that is written by Maddie Deagle. Is Maddie here?
Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. War is for the weak, communication is for the one at the top of the peak. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. War can destroy all places, even the ones with the most beautiful faces. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. War can tear down cities, wow, what a pity. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. During war, resources are scarce, even in people's nightmares. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. People that are left in tears, they are all full of fears. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. Families are holding each other during the war of thunder. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. Instead of going to school, children are crying a fight in pool. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. Children are traumatized from the sound of war, hypnotized. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. Children of my generation are now going to run the nation. Shut the door on war, so it's not here anymore. I am very aware that war is out there, so open the door for peace.
I just want to say, we mostly get younger grades now. We used to get a lot more high school. The level of writing ability, she's 5th grade. It's like amazing to me, like the kids in elementary school can have such sophisticated thoughts. I just wanted to say that.
And the next poet is a good example of that, where he wrestles some really big ideas and puts them into a nicely crafted poem, and that's Paxton Ferry. Is Paxton here today? Okay. All right, well, moving right along to Parker Gunnett with his gorgeous imagery and arresting metaphors, and his poem is called A Starry Night. Are you here? Oh, great. Come on up.
A starry night. There was a puddle of stars, a lake of constellations without a single sound. When a drop of hope touches the blanket of peace and hope, it sends a piece of happiness to the person who had a drop of hope. There's an ocean of galaxies where we're just comets floating around through space, waiting for peace to happen. The light from the blanket is from a war long forgotten, but we still fight. Yet there is still space left in our hearts of flaming rage. We soon will destroy that very blanket that covers us, and the light soon will fall upon us. and we will regret all that we've done to this tiny world, and we'll try to save the little flame of desire left in our little hearts. And if we lose that desire, all we have left is desperation, sadness, and loneliness. Now we'll soar through the cosmos as stars instead of hiding in our comet shells, and we'll shine like a supernova, spreading hope and happiness.
Thank you. It's not easy to do, to take a metaphor, water and sky, and carry it through an entire poem. Really well done. Our next poet sort of took the idea of the pen is mightier than the sword and demonstrated beautifully in this poem. And that is Brock LaPlante, grade 5 from Hidden Oak Elementary. Are you here, Brock?
Why fight? Why fight when we can write? As a free bird in the wind, I can fly. Soon the future may end. Bombs ticking like pens clicking to send in the next move. Were all the lives of men and women worth it? Why use war when we could use peace? As the buzzing sound in the distance, I ask, why do we do this to ourselves? We're all human, hurting each other. Why let the man in the chair plan and bomb each other? When the timer hits 0, do they think of what harm they are doing? Why fight when we can write? Peace, peace, peace. The timer is low and I'm tired, so all I ask is why fight when we can write?
Okay, the next poem is a shorty but a goodie. It's a haiku, and it ends with this delightful little bit of humor, which really highlights beautifully and in such a short and direct way the absurdity of war. And I apologize in advance, I may not get your surname correct, but it's Nick Pranchpay. Are you here? Okay. Well, that's a lovely little poem. Our next poet is a very rigorous poem, and the poet manages to maintain the rhyme scheme without sacrificing her beautiful language, which is also something really hard to do. And that's Aaliyah Johnson, grade 6.
Gun violence poem. Let's have peace, let's be smart, don't hurt, let's have a heart. A gun won't solve your problem, all this hurt makes me solemn. Families get hurt and torn apart, all you need to do is restart. All this violence come to a halt, it may or may not be your fault.
Okay. Grade 6, Resilience Charter School. This poem had, I thought, like a beautiful quality of scripture to it, which seemed appropriate for a poem of gratitude. And the author is Talia Briggs. Is Talia here?
Our freedom you have earned us. The roses are bloody, they're dying fast. There's not much time for us, it's all in the past. The violets are dead, finally, alas, my freedom I do not have, but I wish it was in my grasp. The world is growing dark, the light is fading. I see no end, a life I've been trading. The life I yearned for, the life I earned for, the life I needed, yet my needs were not met. Not much time is left, the pain has finally faded. I see no more light as all has been graded. The world is frozen, a great life in my grasp. It's all a matter if I grab it. Finally, alas, the colors are done fading, the dark is now shaking, the colors are slowly coming back. Oh, I've been waiting. Finally, what we deserve, a healthy, happy life, like the roll of a dice. You have done so much for us, so here are my thanks. Thus I owe my thanks, my life, my mind, and my soul. For all you deserve of me, life no more dull. Thank you for your hard work, thus I owe my soul. I give you my thanks and everything whole. My freedom is deserved, rights have been earned. We owe you so much, but everything of us has been burned. We still owe our thanks, our freedom you've earned. Thank you so much for giving us the life we yearned.
Okay, now we have another haiku. It forces the poet to choose their words wisely when you only have 3 lines to work with. And Jane Beatty did an excellent job with this. Grade 6, Jordan Glenn.
War sings peace. Oh, wait. War's lullaby. War sings peace, its twisted lullaby, putting it to rest among the bodies of fallen soldiers.
I can barely remember my phone number. That's great reading. Our next poet succeeded in giving a voice to the voiceless with what seemed to me to be the haunting chill of the actual experience. And that poet is Lucas Young, grade 6.
Peace is shattered on the floor as bullets ring through the corridors. As the students scream, the man with the gun continues to beam. The man disappears as he hears the siren. A large investigation has started. 10 kids dead. When will the bloodshed end? As the parents bury their kids in the ground, the shooter has finally been found. They want justice and want him to pay, but he feels no guilt and has nothing to say. As their parents only have memories from the past, the murderer never reminiscences on what has passed.
Okay, our next poem, which is a grade 7 poem, is so joyous in its language. It's so lush with its images that it just pulls you in and all the way through the poem to that final question that it asks you at the end. And that poet is Emma Zuvich. Is Emma here? No. Okay. All right. Flames of Ice is our next poem, which is another well-crafted poem, which I thought had sort of a galloping energy to it, which is another way to pull somebody through the entire poem to that full stop at the end. And that poet is Natalie Jones, grade 7.
It starts to build up, burning hot, stopping in my tracks as I realize it's not. I can't feel my body. Stop it, please. The world around me is starting to freeze. I don't know what everybody else sees. I'm just a little girl crying on my knees. Then it's hot again. It's burning. I'm ashes as my whole reality ignites and crashes. It's too hot. It's too cold. You know, it's really not nice to be a trapped body forever encased in ice. I open my eyes, awake, feeling fine, thinking, what an interesting dream of mine. I'm under the covers, though the AC's on full blast. Mother was right, the fever didn't last. I look around, turns out I'm not home. It's a barren wasteland with nowhere to go. Then the flashbacks hit, seizing me. I want to cry as I remember the heat. I'm stuck here in this eternal rest, with fire as cold as the ice of death. It happened too soon, I wasn't yet ready. I didn't realize the fire was deadly. I'm sadly upset, though there is some peace in being an 8-year-old deceased.
Okay. The next poem is called Everything Moves, and I really like the ambition of this poem. It reaches into big topics and sort of philosophizes, but it's contrasted with the directness in the way that it's written, which was very effective. And that author is Sophie Slimak. Sophie here, come on up.
Nothing stays still for long, the next bar of the same song. Widespread morality starts to skew, fair even only to the few. And as soon as sound is silence, and as soon as peace is violence, and as soon as wrath is moved, because everything moves. And I think I'll safely say that we've come a pretty long way, where a little dreamer girl like me can bring truth to her fantasies. But the world isn't like our reverie. It's dark and dusty and grimy, but you ignore that, don't you? Because everything moves. And lighting the darkness with a flicker takes more than a slogan on a bumper sticker. It takes action, hope, and grit, so stand up and stand for it. It takes more than petty thrill rides between rich politicians and their sides. Voices lost against the few because everything moves. And for those who suffer to help our nation thrive, and for those who fight and give their lives, and for those who every day die because we the people never try to reach out unless the camera's on us. While crises are here upon us, so what matters is you, because everything moves. Stuck trying to balance on a treadmill because we're never at a standstill. We've changed a lot since our dark past, so let's make those changes last. And instead of pointing fingers at those who are trying to help understand your woes, and instead of looking down, get off your high horse, take off your crown. The biggest and smallest change may well be you. What stays the same is that everything moves.
Okay, thank you, Sophie. The next poem is a grade 8 poem, and it paints a very clear and precise picture of a world that is both the one we know and the one of our worst dreams. And that author is Isaiah Josie. You here?
As the sun rises through the fog, the residents inhale the smog. What have we become? We were once the shining city on the hill, but now the river in the valley below is flooded with trash and unable to flow. Even still, the residents remain ignorant. The oil tycoon sits at his table, eating a steak that is medium rare, whilst drinking his sparkling Perrier. But this man is not ignorant. He knows the destruction he causes, yet he does not care. Trash piled so high it looks like mountains, all as the oil tycoon enjoys his fondue fountain. He takes land that is not his and strips it of life, all in exchange for solitude and loneliness, only his money to give him company. A boy sits in a mud hut staring at the wall, thirsting for water, not a car, unable to think over the sounds of his growling stomach, but the oil tycoon is no longer hungry. He leaves his food unfinished. Earth's rivers run brown, so dirty they reek with the smell of despair, so dirty they cannot be drunk. But the rich man will only discover he can't eat gold and drink oil when Earth's last river runs dry.
Our next poem also has a nice central metaphor that like one we had seen earlier with the water. It's carried throughout, which is not, as I mentioned, not easy to do, especially when, as this poet does, it's paired with elevated language and ideas. And that's Juan Castillo, grade 8.
Our narrative. The book is opened. The pages flip with increasing tension. Each page fanning the air with stronger gust than the last. The rising voice of its narrative reaches its crescendo. It lands on its flat with a quiet thrum of the last page, its cover thrashing into its arid body. The book is closed. And then, a haunting silence. A certain peace is achieved at the cost of thoughts alone filling the mind, lacking the company of literature to guide it. Another distraction searched for, fulfillment becoming a fantasy, turmoil becoming the norm. Peace, a foreign concept. Calm before the storm has taken its place, gaining peace rather than being a mere puzzle, having become a cryptic tomb, untraversable, inconceivable. Yearning for the initial peace of the past closing, the book is open once more.
Thank you. Our next poem uses a structure of observation followed by clarification, and the apparent simplicity of all the senses included within it are a powerful device. We relate to them and therefore are more likely to hear the message that they're conveying. And that is also a grade 8 poem, and Catherine Scarlett is the author. Is Catherine here? Okay. Our next poem has terrific alliteration that pops off the page, which always draws attention, line breaks which always draw attention to the right moments, the important moments. And that author is Natalie Hurd, grade 9.
Homelessness. Sitting on a stoop, I shiver, cold, numb. People pass me, exchanging crude glances. No one cares. A lavishing-looking lady approaches, pumps popping along the concrete. She stops. Hope blooms throughout my cold corpse. That's what I am at this point. Hollow, empty, lazy. She spits. Hope, while only present for a split second, exit my body in a rush, like the last exhale of one's soul. Getting a good footing, I stand. It's getting dark, ending another torturous day. My limbs are slim, barely able to support my stature. I walk warily, searching for a place to lay my head. I pass benches with bars through the middle, slabs with spines stuck to them, heating grates with uneven platforms. I curl up beneath a tree, drifting to sleep. As I close my eyes, I finally find my only escape.
Our next poem has a tone of wistfulness to it, the sadness for what's been lost. And it's beautifully done in this poem by Natalie Rodriguez, grade 11. Any Natalie here? Okay. Our next poem is called Peace Cannot Come in Pieces, and this poem struck me as an urgent wake-up call, and perhaps more importantly, a reminder of our shared humanity. And this is by Skylar Scott, grade 12.
A 13-year-old black boy was shot. I thought I was desensitized to violence, but he smiled just like my little brother. He was dark just like my little brother. He was vulnerable, just like my little brother. 5 girls were arrested in Iran because they had the audacity to dance in public. I danced to music only I could hear in a stadium full of people I didn't know, as a prayer to them. In 2021, a school burned down in Afghanistan because the girls that studied there were in danger from the Taliban. And I think about them as I write my university applications. The dwindling numbers of Indigenous Americans are our strongest fighters against climate change and oil pipelines that strip them of their autonomy. And I can't go out to support them without filling my car with the oil that's killing them. My governor wants to kill me. I'm not in charge of myself. Going to school is the leading cause of death for minors in the US. But even if I had no worries in the world, I still would not be at ease. I may not hear them. I may not see them. I may not be standing by their side, but I have no peace while they are all still screaming.
So have we missed any poets? Did anyone come in late? Skylar, make sure you apply for the Peace Scholarship. So it's open to 12th, and students already in college or trade schools. We'll talk about that. Make sure you apply. I didn't say what the poet's loot is, so we give them this beautiful certificate and then also a gift card to a local bookstore. Sometimes I go in and check to make sure the students are really coming in and getting some books, but little editorial comment. Hopefully, pretty soon we won't have banned books, because even the libraries now, the public libraries, in some places, they're going after the books and closing public libraries. So, Olivia is going to come play again, while Paul and Scott will come up to present the scholarships. It's a different program, but I hope all you Peace poets will at some point try to apply for the Peace Scholarship. It's students who do some kind of social justice peace work.
All right, this song is called What We've Done. Here we go. The sirens don't sing anymore. The sirens don't sing anymore. They're too busy with their hurricanes, weathering the storms. The sirens don't sing anymore. And the devil, he stays safe at home. The devil, he stays safe at home. It's too hot up here for that old man to rattle those old bones. The devil, he stays safe at home. What have we done, oh Lord? What have we done, oh Father? When the ashes fall, will they cover us all? Has a new world begun? Oh, what have we done? Oh, what have we done? The flowers lie still in the ground. The flowers lie still in the ground. The buzzards overhead, they are quiet, make no sound. The flowers lie still in the ground. And the sun hangs low in the sky. The sun hangs low in the sky. The bottle is empty and the river, it is dry. The sun hangs low in the sky. What have we done, oh Lord? What have we done, oh brothers? When the ashes fall, will they cover us all? Has a new world begun? Oh, what have we done? Oh, what have we done? What have we, oh, what have we done? Thank you.
Paul Ortiz, professor in Veterans for Peace, member and coordinator of the Peace Scholarship Program, Scott Camille, y'all met him, will present the Peace Scholarships to this year's recipients. Again, all you poets, when you become high school seniors, please apply.
Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Feel inspired? Very good. Well, again, my name is Paul Ortiz. I'm a professor of history at the University of Florida, director of the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program, and as Sheila mentioned at the outset, the UF Oral History Program is proudly filming and documenting this wonderful event. Again, it will be available via YouTube. So if you would like to watch it or share it with friends or family, loved ones, teachers, please, it will be available probably within the next month or so. So I have the honor to serve on a lot of scholarship programs, both at the University of Florida and nationally. And I have to say with that reservation that the Gainesville Veterans for Peace 9th annual scholarship program is my favorite scholarship program to be able to participate in. As Sheila mentioned earlier, this is a scholarship that looks at academic achievement. Yes, it's very important, but it also looks at a applicant's potential commitment and activism on behalf of peace, nonviolence, social justice. The Gainesville Veterans for Peace chapter has a very strong commitment to the Peace Scholarship Program. And as our chapter president, Scott Camille, mentioned earlier, we're raising money constantly to endow this scholarship. Many of us grew up in families within our chapters who didn't have the option of going to college, but actually went into the military. And so the idea behind this scholarship is to really give young students, and older students too, other options. So this year we have 4 Peace Scholarship recipients. Each scholarship prize comes with an award and a check, which we have right here, which Scott will present to the winners, of $1,500 each. And again, to echo what Sheila Payne said earlier, our outreach for next year's Peace Scholarship Program begins today. And so those of you planning to matriculate to college this coming year, the next years to come, please check back with Gainesville Veterans for Peace. Please apply for the Peace Scholarship Program. The deadline is usually mid-April of each year. So we're going to continue to raise funds to support and endow this scholarship because we believe deeply in it. The last thing I'll say before we begin to award the 4 scholarships is that this year we added a scholarship in honor of John A. Penrod. John Penrod is very important to our community. He was a co-founder of my union, the United Faculty of Florida at UF. He was also a veteran of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade, a dedicated anti-fascist. He traveled to Spain in the mid-1930s to defend the Spanish Republic against the Nazis and the fascists. And so we've endowed an additional scholarship in honor of John Penrod. But now for the moment you all have been waiting for. So the scholarship is awarded to students who are planning to matriculate to a 2- or 4-year college, students planning to go into a trade program, an apprenticeship program, a vocational program, and all of the above. So the first recipient of the 9th Annual Gainesville Veterans for Peace Scholarship Award is Carmelos Brown. Carmelos Brown is a retired U.S. Army veteran, originally from Williston, Florida. He is a student at Santa Fe College where he's majoring in organizational management. He is a member of the Justice Club, a first-generation counselor, a veteran at the Veteran and Military Services Resource Success Coordinator at Santa Fe College, and he's also a board member of Increasing African American Retention at Santa Fe College. He's also the author of this wonderful poem, My Pledge Allegiance, which we have extra copies up front. Carmelos Brown, again, a retired U.S. Army veteran. He is actually doing student work today in the Student Abroad program at Santa Fe College. So in his place, we've asked Mr. Nick McMillan, who is a staff member at the Santa Fe Veterans and Military Services Success Program at Santa Fe College, to come forward and accept Carmelos' award. Please come, Nick. Our next recipient is a student at Pace Center for Girls in Alachua County. Her name is Leilani Gordon. Her faculty recommenders at Pace noted that Leilani has become a leader in encouraging her fellow students to become engaged in community activism. Leilani writes that, quote, as a scholar at Pace Center for Girls, I've learned a lot about my past, but most importantly, about my future and what I can do for others. Leilani says that factors like age, disability, ethnicity, gender, and religion play a huge role in discrimination and access to resources. This is one of the many reasons, Leilani writes, why I want to go to college for law school in pursuit of social justice. Leilani plans to attend Florida A&M University in the fall and eventually to matriculate to law school to help create a fair criminal justice system in the United States. Another round of applause for Leilani, please. Thank you. So our next recipient is Rahel Burlesman, who's a senior at PK Young Developmental Research School. Rahel is also a full-time dual-enrolled student at Santa Fe College, currently holds a weighted 4.2 GPA. Very impressive. One of her recommenders noted that Rahel, quote, is a calming presence, a peacemaker, and a kind, generous spirit wherever she goes. In addition to working part-time, Rahel volunteers to read at area schools. She plans to attend the University of South Florida and to embark upon a career as a travel nurse. Rahel writes that, quote, for my long-term goal, I would like to be working in medical missions and traveling to developing countries to be able to reinforce ways for communities to have better affordable health care. Please join me in thanking Rahel Burlesman. And our final recipient of the 9th Annual Gainesville Veterans for Peace Scholarship Award is also, I mentioned at the outset, a recipient at the same time of our John A. Penrod Scholarship, Peace Scholarship Award. And this is none other than Mr. Adrian Price. Adrian is a Santa Fe College Honor Society student. He is president of the Santa Fe Justice Club, as well as a volunteer at the House of Hope Prison Transitional Ministry and Human Serve organization. Adrian teamed up with a humanities professor at Santa Fe College to organize an initiative called, quote, Education in and Out of Prison, which received a grant from the National Endowment for the Humanities. In his own words, Adrian, quote, has a passion for seeing those who come from incarceration succeed in their transition once released, using the arts and expressive culture. He will be entering the radiography program at Santa Fe this fall semester. He is the recipient of this year's Peace Scholarship, named in honor of John A. Penrod, a veteran of the Abraham Lincoln Brigade in the Spanish Republic and a lifelong social justice activist in Alachua County. Congratulations, Adrian Price. And that concludes our awards for this year's 9th Annual Peace Scholarship. As I mentioned at the outset, we're getting organized right now for the 10th Annual Gainesville Veterans for Peace Scholarship Program. So if you know any students planning to matriculate to college, to a trade program, a vocational apprenticeship program, please direct them to Gainesville Veterans for Peace. As I said earlier, the deadline for our scholarship is usually in mid-April of each year. So especially to Peace Poet recipients and to your siblings, please apply for a Peace Scholarship at the time that you become, at the time that you can start thinking about vocational trade school or what have you. So again, thank you so much for supporting Gainesville Veterans for Peace, and remember that it's your contributions, it's the donations of the community, the support of the community that makes this poetry and scholarship program possible. So I'll turn it over now to our chair, Scott Camille. Scott.
So we're now going to invite everyone who was a winner from the Peace Poetry Contest and the Peace Scholarship to come up here on stage so we can get a photograph, and that photograph will go in the Gainesville Sun of all of you up here. So come on up.
Professional photograph.
Okay.
Transitional Ministry and Human Service Organization.